All right. I was doing some documentation this morning on the new sharing experience in OneDrive and SharePoint, mainly for a couple of our people who've asked about how to manage access or how to see who has access to what in their OneDrive or in SharePoint sites. And I noticed a kind of a fundamental change in how the sharing works now that has me a little bit concerned. So, historically, permissions in SharePoint and by extension OneDrive, since it's OneDrive for Business anyway, which is just an implementation of SharePoint, has always been a mess. It's never been easy to look at a SharePoint site or an item in SharePoint and very clearly and easily see who has access and what level of access they have. And I've spent far too much time in my life cleaning up messes people made by breaking permission inheritance and assigning permissions all over the place. So it's never been easy. It's never been clean. And for a while, it seemed like Microsoft was pushing everyone toward, I'm going to say 2016 to 2018, this move toward using sharing links. And that's kind of how it's worked in OneDrive and SharePoint from around that point. Again, I don't know exactly when because I really just came into using Office 365 in 2017. But basically, since then, until this most recent update, when you shared a file with someone, it would basically create a sharing link. So let's say I have this great lorem ipsum document here. I want to share this with someone. I'll share this with Andrew, and I want him to be able to edit it. So I'll just click invite. Now, in the past, what would happen is even if it was just one person, SharePoint would generate, or Microsoft 365 would generate a sharing link that gave whoever had that link edit access and would assign Andrew as the only person with access to that link. And that's what I expect. So when I click on the share button and I click on manage access here, I can see that people who have access, Andrew, groups, basically this is the owners and the visitors in this site, great. And then links, none. So it didn't actually create a sharing link there. By contrast, let's say I want someone else to just be able to view this file. So I'll again click the share button, but this time it'll be Peter. So I'll put him in, and I just want him to view it, but instead of clicking the invite, like I don't want to send him that email with the link to it. I instead want to copy the link because I have a chat message or chat conversation in Teams, or I'm going to give this to him some other way. I'm already working on an email, so I click copy link, and I can then paste that link into the email that I'm going to send to Peter, and he'll have access. Now, here's the difference. When I click on manage access now, because I clicked copy link, it actually did create the link. Now, this is the piece that this is kind of the way it used to work, whether you clicked the the send button or the copy link button, it always created that link. Now, the advantage of this in my mind, and maybe I was just drinking the Microsoft Kool-Aid around it, but Microsoft presented this as a more flexible way of managing access to the content. And it kind of makes sense to me because now you have this link, and think of that link as a bookmark or a shortcut. So whoever has this link and is in this list has this level of permission to it. So if I need to add somebody else, give someone else access to this, I can click the gear, I can add in Louis. Try that again. Add in Louis and click apply. Now both Peter and Louis can use this link to view that. Now they need to use that exact link, which is fine because I'm going to make sure I give them that link however I get it to them. But the point is I have this flexibility. This link is again sort of a a token almost, or like I said, a shortcut. So I can do things like maybe I actually want to make sure that they don't copy any text from this, so I can change it from can view to can download, or I'm sorry, can't download, which I love that new naming because it's much more clearer than block download. But at the same point, when I do that, that change is going to apply to all of the people listed. That's logical. That makes sense to me. And in fact, if I go over to people, now it's going to list all of those individual people, which is great because it's good to be able to see kind of in one view, here are all the people who have access and what level of access they have. So that part I like. But I don't like the fact that Andrew basically has direct access. So when I click on Andrew, it'll say direct access, can edit. But when I click on Peter or Louis, it's going to say that, basically they have access through this link that allows, viewing but not downloading, but they have no direct access. So that part is confusing. Now, so far I've been doing this in SharePoint, but if I were to be, if I were using OneDrive, it's the same behavior. So again, the same share experience. So if I go over to my OneDrive and let's say I want to share document 1, in this case I want to share it with Wilhelm, so I'll select Clink, and again I want to give him, not allow him to download this, and invite. And what I've done is given him direct access to it. So when I manage the access on that, we'll see that he has direct access. So maybe this isn't a big, maybe I'm making more out of this than I should, but I have to say that the way it worked made sense in terms of always generating that sharing link. And that's kind of the way that I would train people to use it, and to understand that when you share, it's creating a link. That really makes sense. So I'm confused about how they've changed this, and it does seem to apply to people in groups, basically when you're giving those specific permissions. But if you are, so if I share this, and let's say I change this because I want to generate a link that is anonymous and gives that can't download access, and I click apply, and then I invite someone like Helga, and I click invite, what I would expect based on the previous experience in Microsoft 365 is, because I said that was an anyone link, I would expect it to create an anyone link. Instead, it's just given Helga direct access to it. So if I then want to use that link for somebody else or give that link to somebody else, I can't do that. Now, you could argue that, well, if you're creating an anonymous link, why would you send it as an email? So if I wanted to use that anyone audience, and again, restrict it to can't download and click apply, and then I click copy link, then yes, it's then going to create that link that anyone can use to view it but not download it. But the point is, if I want that link, I need to take the explicit action of clicking copy link in order to get it. I could then copy link and then click send, and it will send an email to that person. But to me, it still seems very confusing and seems like kind of a step back from the direction that Microsoft, at least that I thought Microsoft was going, in terms of making permissions kind of a little more transparent, a little easier to manage. This really just doesn't seem like they're going in the right direction. But if if you're not seeing the new sharing experience yet, when you do, give this a try and let me know in the comments what you think about it. I think I'm been pretty clear that I don't like the way this behaves now. I'm going to be sharing that feedback with Microsoft, but if you don't like it, please let Microsoft know as well. Maybe they'll rethink it, or maybe they'll clarify that this was their plan all along and we should just accept it and move on. But let me know what you think, and have a great day.